Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I am the owner operator of Berner Babies. And today I want to talk to you about how to feed your new Berner puppy. So I get the question, how much do you feed them? How often do you feed them, etc. Well, in the take home video, I talk about free feeding and how that helps prevent bloat. So how to feed your new puppy? You put the bowl on the floor, you fill it with food, and you keep it full. So let me tell you the benefits to free feeding. So your puppy, as of right now, coming home from Berner Babies, has never known what it is like to be hungry. They have access to food 24/7. The only exception to that is when we are kennel training, and then also I advise you to kind of do the same. So our puppies have access to food their entire awake time when they're not in their kennel. At 7 p.m. we take away their food and water, and they go to bed at 9. Okay, when they wake up at 6 o'clock, the bowl of food and water are already on the floor ready for them. So why do we do this? First of all of my dogs, all of my puppies, Yorkies, Berners, everybody is free fed, because a dog will not overeat because there's food on the floor. That is not a thing. Dogs are not like people. Dogs will only eat when they are hungry, and they will graze. Okay? They are not going to become overweight. And I get it all the time. Heather, if I did that, my dog would, eat everything in sight. Yep, you're right. So what happens when you feed a certain amount at a certain time, and that's all they can have, is you create this mentality in your dog of eat now or starve later. So as soon as you put that food on the floor, they're like, that's mine, I gotta have it right now. Or I don't get fed until, whatever time. If you feed twice a day, 6 and 6, let's say, your dog knows if I don't eat every kibble that's in my bowl right now, I don't get anything else until dinner. And so therefore, they eat it all. You're actually more prone to get an overweight dog that way, because they'll eat it all no matter if they're hungry or not hungry. So that is the first thing. Your dog coming from Berner Babies does not know any food insecurity. When they're born, they have their mom with them, and then as soon as they're able to eat, mom already has food available, so therefore it's also available to the puppies. This is extremely important, okay? If you have a dog that is fed on a schedule and you're taking home a puppy from here, I would highly encourage you to switch your dog over to free feeding, and I do have a video about that, but I can also walk you through it. If you send me an email and say, Heather, I need instructions on how to get my dog to free feed before we bring this puppy home. It takes literally 2 weeks to retrain and rewire your dog's brain. Okay, so first of all, the puppy coming from Berner Babies does not know what it's like to be hungry. They are not food insecure. I don't care if there are 15 puppies in the litter and they're all fighting for the food in the bowl. The thing is, they're actually not fighting, because I make sure that those bowls are always full and they always have food in them. So even in a large litter of puppies, they're not fighting for physical kibble. They might be fighting over their mom, but they're not fighting over kibble. They know when I'm hungry, I go to the bowl, mom has food in it, and I'm good. There's no panic when it comes to food. You will never have a food aggression issue, because they know there is food in the bowl when I'm hungry. So I'm going to go to the bowl. There's food there. So there's no reason to be upset if a little kid sticks their hand in the food bowl, or another dog enters the pitcher and wants some of the food, because I know my mom will give me more. If I'm still hungry, my mom will give me more. So no food insecurity, no food aggression, and the bloat. So bloat is basically when the dog eats something and it creates a air pocket that goes down the esophagus. Okay, so when you feed on a time schedule, only a certain amount, your dog gobbles everything, and you are way more likely, I can't remember what the statistic is, but it's something like 80 or 90% more likely to have the dog develop bloat, which is life-threatening. It's an emergency. If you do not catch it right away, the odds are that the dog does not survive. It's a very scary thing. And so what happens is when they gobble that food up, it creates that air pocket, heads down the esophagus, and flips the belly. Okay, so just by free feeding, your chances of bloat significantly decrease. It is not the only factor in bloat, but it significantly decreases the chances. If you are feeding on a time schedule, 100%, I say tack that stomach, because you are so much more likely to get bloat. And that is any large barrel-chested dog. So the next thing is, like I said, the weight. People assume that if you leave dogs food on the floor all the time, that they'll just eat until they explode. Well, that's not true. Dogs are not like people. You know, I can grab a few chips even though I'm not hungry, or I grab candy at Casey's or whatever, but maybe I'm not hungry, but I'll still eat that, even though I'm not hungry, so why am I eating it? Dogs are not like that with their food in the bowl. Now, people food, totally different conversation. That's their candy from Casey's, that's their bowl of chips or whatever, but the food that's in the bowl, if I have broccoli on my plate, or I have candy from Casey's and I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat the broccoli. I'm just not going to, but I will eat the candy. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. So your dog is not going to become overweight just because they have food in their bowl. All of my dogs here are free fed, and I have one dog that's overweight, and it's because she has a thyroid issue. That's not her fault. So, but she is free fed too, and I guarantee you that my dogs eat less than your timed feeding dogs, and it's because they can eat whenever they want. So, part of me, I am so passionate about free feeding. I try to explain to people, if I tell you, or if someone tells me, like, okay, Heather, you can only eat at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., and I'm only going to give you like this much, I'm going to panic. I'm going to panic, like, and I am going to hoard that food, and I'm going to be protective of that food, even as a person. You know, right now, if I'm hungry, I go to the pantry and there's food there, and I take whatever I want. Well, your dog doesn't have that option unless they're free fed. When they're hungry, they graze. No overweight. And that mentality alone is healthier for your dog than the time feeding that everybody thinks is going to prevent them from being overweight. You guys see the videos of my dogs. Are they fat? Or are they happy and healthy? And the reason that I can put several dogs in one space with only one food bowl is because no one around here is food insecure. No one gets grumpy with anybody for being at the food bowl. And that is because they know mom will provide. So that's my soapbox. It's a huge soapbox. Like, I feel very adamant about this, and I really hope that you all heed my notice. So please watch this video before you pick up your puppy, because this is probably one of the most important things that I talk about. So if you have any questions about free feeding, how to transition a dog from scheduled and timed feeding to free feeding, let me know. I will be more than happy to walk you through that. So let me know if you have questions. Thank you for watching, and thank you for letting me rant for a second. I always appreciate you guys. So please like, subscribe, comment if you have questions, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.